This video is original content produced by Free Speech Community Building and knowledge sharing platform TruthWillOut.online, based on an article written and published by the Video Rebel. Wall Street steals $10 trillion here, there, everywhere. Pretty soon you are talking about the end of human freedom, the end of humanity, the end of everything and everyone we cared for. Let us count the ways bankers can legally rob us. At Jekyll Island in 1910, agents of the Rothschilds, Rockefellers and Warburgs gave themselves the right to charge us interest on money they created out of nothing. Paying interest on fictitious debts transfers all that we worked for to the bankers for nothing in return. If we still had Lincoln's non-interest-bearing greenbacks, there would be no 23 trillion national debt and no 500 billion annual interest payment on that fiction. Dr. Mark Skidmore, in his latest update with Catherine Austin Fitts, suggested that the US Treasury is selling trillions of dollars more in government bonds than they admit are on the books. These trillions of dollars in off-the-books bond sales are not part of the 21 trillion that Dr. Skidmore had found that had gone missing from the Department of Defense and House and Urban Development budgets from 1998 to 2015. Additional money was probably stolen from other departments. Indira Singh said that they were likely stealing from Social Security by transferring money into dummy recipients' accounts. I previously mentioned my favorite story of the missing 21 trillion. The US Army had an annual budget of 122 billion a year. The Treasury sent them a check for 800 billion and told them to plug up the holes. Guess what? They lost the 100 billion too. Dr. Skidmore is back with new stories. The DoD has 6.5 trillion in unsupported ledger adjustments. The top three are for 177,417,491,279, 165,989,255,290, and 163,114,566,279. The US Army did not give Dr. Skidmore a lot of detail in his FOIA request. Just had little notes like vendor had no further information on the missing 165 billion. Would you be surprised to learn that CNN, NBC, CBS, ABC, the New York Times and the Washington Post did not mention the missing trillions at all? Why is that? Did you ever wonder why America is still in Afghanistan? President Bush told his allies that he was going to invade Afghanistan in the summer of 2001. Several months before Israel did 9/11. So why did he invade? Was it part of the CIA's long-term plan to addict as many young people as possible, to destroy as many lives as possible, precisely so we could have the most corrupt government imaginable? If the people ever rose up in righteous anger against Wall Street, they would have to go through the mafia and the drug cartels long before they got to the government. And politicians don't have real power, so overthrowing the government might have limited benefits if they do not also dismantle the central banking system. David Rotkopf, the former CEO of Kissinger Associates, in his book Superclass, said that the world is run by the 30 families and their 6,000 minions. The military took the old U-2 spy plane and converted it into the Global Hawk surveillance drone. Later versions cost 220 million each when fully equipped. They added a compartment to carry 3,400 pounds, that's 1,542 kilograms of opium from Afghanistan to an American airbase where it can be transported to America, to Europe, or to wherever addicts are willing to pay the highest price. America was flooded with so much heroin that the average age of first-time users dropped to 14.5 years. Rob Kirby told us that the cocaine importing agency, CIA, had stashed so much loot in their secret slush funds that they were able to buy trillions of dollars in US Treasury bonds when they were being dumped by Russia and China. Of course, the US can always just print trillions more in US Treasury bonds than they were authorized, so that they can do noble deeds such as save bankers from prisons for stealing hundreds of billions from pensioners. There is a fly in this uber-rich ointment. They need to steal trillions more each year to pay off the suckers who bought off the books bonds last year. I suppose they could sell trillions more each year to leading zombie banks and to the Federal Reserve. Jim Ricketts is a financial consultant to both the CIA and the Pentagon. He expects a financial reset which will happen when America loses its international reserve currency status. That means the US will no longer be able to buy trillions of dollars of useless things from overseas to subsidize the wages of the sheeple while paying foreigners in I owe you nothing Federal Reserve notes. There will be a day when the US has to buy 2 ounces of gold for $10,000 each so they can get a letter of gold credit to import things from foreigners. Too bad the elite decided to overpopulate America by 200 million plus people, so we have a permanent trade deficit. We now have to import natural resources. Liberal Democrats will figure out their mistakes after 10 million Americans have starved to death, but they will still blame white racists. I see everything coming to a head in the 2021 to 2023 timeframe at the latest. Never underestimate the power of the government's ability to print money. Think like a banker. They know that they robbed everyone, so they insist on a surveillance state, including digital certificates, so that they can track every citizen in real time and deny them employment and even the ability to buy food or gasoline. No traveling to rally for you. But they also know we are entering a period of global cooling, just like the Maunder Minimum from 1645 to 1715. In 1709 there was a big freeze and the ground froze to a depth of 1 meter, approximately 40 inches. Bankers love monopolies. If bankers had a monopoly on food, they could charge the people whatever they wanted to feed their children. I can guarantee you nationwide food riots in America's future. The bankers have invested in lab-grown meat and in cockroach milk. They have also invested in indoor farming with grow lights. They have taken over large abandoned properties and started raising food year-round indoors. But that will not be enough food. Millions will likely die from starvation and violence. Bankers will promise food to loyal soldiers and policemen. But they will have to get that food from farmers in America below the 40th parallel, as in a period of global cooling, people north of there in the US will need climate battery greenhouses and indoor gardens to raise food. American cities near the 40th parallel are Philadelphia, Pennsylvania and Columbus, Ohio, as well as northern suburbs of Indianapolis, Indiana and Denver, Colorado. Think what that implies. If you live in the northern US and can raise food indoors, it gives you a stronger bargaining position. If you live in the southern US states and can grow food in your backyard, you might be able to raise enough food to stop local food riots. The US has local restrictions on front yard gardening. I would suggest you raise sunflowers in your front yard. They are beautiful and the seeds are edible. When I was a child, I knew there would never be a nuclear war. Nuclear weapons kill rich people. Killing poor folks is okay, but killing rich people is forbidden. When I was older, I understood that in addition to killing poor people, starvation makes rich people even richer. How so? Because they can borrow a soon-to-be hyperinflated currency and buy all that food for 5 cents on the dollar and sell it back at 100 cents, thus stripping the poor and the middle class of their few remaining assets. In the process, there will be several billion fewer commoners with all wealth in a few hands. That is the future the 30 families have written for you. You will have to make other plans if you intend to survive. If you like my content, please subscribe, watch, like, comment and share, both on my main and my backup channel. I cannot rely on YouTube to recommend my videos to other people, if you know what I mean. And of course, join my Red Pill community on truthwillout.online. It's a bit like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and Reddit combined, just without Big Brother tech spying or Orwellian thought police.